Hey guys, so we're back working on a Cub Cadet 125 today. We're going to be cleaning up the surface on the engine block better, ready for the head gasket and cylinder head and valves to be reinstalled. Cylinder head needs to be cleaned up with our new head gasket. I decided to buy a new exhaust valve. It was $19.99 from this company, iSaveTractors.com. Here's your plug for these guys. And then when I clean the cylinder head up, I'm going to using this. It's like a plastic grinder brush. Again, it's plastic, so we're not going to damage the cylinder head, the top of the engine. Once this is cleaned up, we're going to be installing the valves again. Then we will lap the valves and adjust the valve clearance, and then get cylinder head back on and continue from there. So now we have the engine block cleaned up, ready for the head gasket. First of all, we need to put the valves back in and then lap the valves using these tools, the valve grinding compound, and then our exhaust and intake valve. And once that's done, it's going to be time for more reassembly. So when you guys lap the valves, you need these tools obviously, and then kind of like when you light a fire with two pieces of wood, you'll be hands together all the way down. The valve grinding compound, you just put like a slight amount on the face and margin area of the valve, and then once you're done lapping them, make sure you clean up all that extra valve grinding compound, because it will do some pretty serious damage if it gets inside the engine. So I'm going to do this on both exhaust and intake valves before reassembly to make sure they're both lapped, and then install the springs, keepers, and once that's done, I'm going to clean inside of here too where the carburetor goes. It looks kind of sad. And then hopefully sometime soon we shall try to start this bad boy. I still need to replace the choke and the throttle cable though. They're all completely seized. I do have extras in my box of new parts, so we also have that to work on as well. When the valve is lapped, it should look something like this. Obviously we need to clean the valve off. But this is the new exhaust valve. I'll be doing the same on the intake valve as well. So both valves are in. Intake is in, the new exhaust valve is in. The exhaust valve was pretty difficult to deal with. The keepers, for some reason, on this valve kept falling off when I was decompressing the spring. I'm not too sure what's going on with that one. It's an aftermarket valve, so as you can tell, everything's back together. And I rotated the engine over by hand, and the valves opening and closing as they should. So the next thing to do is going to be the valve adjustment. Alrighty guys, now it's time to set the valve lash or clearance for the intake valve and the exhaust valve. The specs are between 8 and 10 thousandths of an inch for the intake, and the exhaust is 17 to 19 thousandths of an inch. For the intake, I'll be setting mine at 9 thousandths of an inch. That way, when I try to use a 10 thousandths of an inch feeler gauge, it should not slide in between the push rod and the valve. And same too for the exhaust. I was setting mine at 18 thousandths of an inch. That way a 19 thousandths feeler gauge should not be able to fit between the valve and the push rod. To adjust these valves, it's a 7/16 and it's supposed to be a 3/8 for the top nut, but for some reason it's bigger than that, and a 11mm worked a lot better for me. So you just hold, you just kind of have to do this with one hand and the flashlight. Let's see if I can get you guys. So this part here, you hold that with a wrench, and the top one you tighten it to increase the clearance, and you loosen it to reduce the clearance. And once that's all set, then I'll be scraping off the old gasket, getting all this breather back together, and then onto the carburetor. So the valve cover and breather back together. Now we're working on new head gasket right there, and I'm going to put the cylinder head on, clean up the bolts, and the cylinder head bolt torque is 420 inch-pounds.